Good morning. Today is the 25th of July, about 10:07 a.m. here in New York, and we will be starting our Selenium with Java automation testing class today. Just want to introduce you folks to TrainingRight. Let's talk a little bit about what we do and how we're going to be running this program, and then we will get started with the course. For most of you folks who have taken a training with us in the past, then you know how we do this. There are going to be 8 classes, 8 sessions. Each session is going to be 2 hours long, and we will be meeting on Saturdays and Sundays. There is a request from folks on the West Coast that we should change the time because it's too early for them to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning and attend this class. So I am really not sure what we're going to be doing about it, but we might decide before the end of today's session, if at all, if we can entertain that request. Okay, so if we start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's going to run for 2 hours, so from 10 to noon is what we're going to be doing, so every Saturdays and Sundays. Now, if you are a registered student with us, then you might have already received the videos, so you can watch the videos any time of the day, 24 hours, and the access to the videos will be available to you for 1 year. And as a part of this course, this is a Selenium with Java. So if you take a look over here, we offer both Selenium with Java as well as C#.NET. I'm not going to talk much about C#.NET, so let's quickly go into the Java. And the only thing that I would like to mention here is you can buy a combo package. A combo package is both the courses, Java with Selenium with Java as well as with C#.NET, and that's a hugely discounted one, because if you look into the C# is offered at $4.99, but together they are offered at $5.99. So you would have paid only $100 for Selenium with Java. But anyway, so that's basically what as far as the pricing is concerned. Now, as far as the contents of the course is concerned, I'm not going to read bullet by bullet as what we're going to be covering as a part of this course. Just so that you guys are aware, this is going to be pretty intense course. There's a lot of material that we will be covering as a part of this course. Now, 95% of the time I get this question from most of the students. We don't know anything about Java. Do you think we can learn this course, or we could learn Selenium with Java if we don't have any computer science degree, or we have not done any programming in the past? Well, I don't want you to be discouraged because we will be covering Java. I will be covering Java, core Java, right from the beginning. Now we have a course for Java for testers. That is, again, a 16-hour course. So I will not be covering everything about Java, but enough so that we could get things done. So that's basically what we will be doing as a part of this course. Now, in terms of that was my alarm. Okay, in terms of the things that we expect from you, 8 sessions. I don't want you to just come and watch what I will be doing. I want you to participate in it. And the way you're going to be participating in it is by completing the assignments. So there are going to be 8 assignments. And the reason we are handing out these assignments is not to punish you in any way, but to make you learn stuff. The assignments will cover scenarios that you would possibly come across when you are working in Selenium. Or if you're preparing for the interviews, these 8 assignments that we're going to be asking you to complete will possibly again cover majority of the interview questions they would be asking you. So I expect you to complete these assignments. Now, if you need somebody to tell you how you are doing, now here is a hint. You can gauge your own performance. The way you're going to be finding out whether you are learning is if you find yourself completing the assignments, that tells you that you are pretty much on the right path, and you are learning, because these assignments in the first 2-3 classes are going to be not that challenging, but they become pretty challenging once you start hitting class 3. If you follow everything that I want you to do in these sessions, I don't think you will have any difficulty understanding, and completing those assignments. So my only request as a part of this course is, you have to pay attention to the assignments and complete those assignments, because our experience for the past 6 years that we have been providing this training, I can tell you people who complete the assignments are the ones who will be getting jobs within 6 weeks from today. So if you draw a timeline, today is the 25th of July, so fast forward 6 weeks. If you complete all the assignments, I see no reason that you will not be working. I made that statement because there is a huge job market right now for Selenium testers. If you go to dice.com and if you go to monster.com, do a little search on Selenium, and you will be surprised, looking at the amount of jobs available all over the country. So I know some of the folks are joining us from UK, and one person from Australia as well. So even you guys all over the planet, I noticed that there are tremendous opportunities, and particularly in US, we have many opportunities for Selenium. So that is the reason Selenium is a hot seller when it comes to providing the training from our company. We all the time provide trainings on Selenium with Java and C#. Okay, now as far as this course being interactive, how are we going to make it interactive? Well, I'm going to be here for 2 hours, right? Every session. You got to make the best use of those 2 hours by of course, listening to me, by watching me, and more importantly, if you have any questions, talk to me. So there are 2 ways of you interacting with me. You can, right now I have muted you all, so even if you're, sort of like asking me a question, I will not be able to hear it because I have muted you. So the way I can unmute you is if you click on that palm, or that icon of raising a hand that flashes next to your name, and I will notice that you need some assistance, and I will finish my thought and I will unmute you, and then you can talk to me. So talking is one way of interacting while we are in this session. The other way is you could type in that chat window. So if you type in the chat window, again, I'm going to be reading all your chats, and I will answer your questions as we see them fit. Keep your questions related to this course, At the tail end of every session, in the last couple of minutes, we'll have a Q&A, and if you have any questions at that time, feel free. We can spend some time and then we can talk about it. Okay. How about if you have any questions offline, meaning that you're watching a video and you have a question and how you're going to be interacting with us at that time. Again, we have made you a member, all of those folks who have purchased the training, we have already made you a member of our private forum, so you can post your questions there, and that question will be answered as soon as we can. Within 24 hours, we will answer that. And the reason we ask for 24 hours is because we want to give everyone an equal opportunity to look at the question, because some people might be sleeping because we have different time zones from Australia to UK to US and Canada and all that. So 24 hours is a decent time for us to respond, and we will do that. Today we will get started as far as Selenium is concerned, and I will show you what is automation using Selenium. Now, before we get there, we have to prepare the environment. What do you mean by preparing the environment? You got to make sure that your machine is capable of running Selenium. So how do you do that? The first thing is you got to make sure that you have Java installed on your machine. Majority of the time, Java will be installed on the machine, but how can we check if Java is installed on your machine or not? You go from Start, and in the box here, type cmd as in command, and this will pop up. And over here, you can type Java space hyphen version and hit enter, and it'll give you what version of Java is installed on your machine. Now, let's say if Java is not installed on your machine, you're gonna see something like this. Make believe that this is in Java. So make believe that this is Java. So if Java is not installed, it'll say that Java is not a recognized internal external command and stuff like that. So if Java is not installed, this is what you're going to be doing. You will be going to Google and you would type download Java. Now, Java is a software from Sun Microsystems going back in 1995, 1996. Java came out at that time. Java is a programming language like many other programming languages that are out there. So in order to download Java, Java was or Sun Microsystems was bought out by Oracle. So now Java is a part of Oracle. So in order to download it, you can, if you see the second link here, that takes you to Oracle. Now, if you notice here, when we are downloading Java, there is something called JDK, right? And then there is something called JRE, right? Pay attention to these two things. JDK is Java Development Kit. So it's usually used by developers to build Java applications. But I would ask you to download it. Now you would say that, why am I downloading JDK? Because the answer to that is you yourself are sort of like a developer. Not really a developer, but you would be developing scripts, JavaScripts. So what is a script? A script is nothing but a small program, right, that either developers or automation engineers, they create. So you, as an automation engineer, you will be writing your code in Java. So you got to have the JDK. So let's go and install JDK. Now, what is JRE? JRE is Java Runtime Engine, or Java Runtime Environment. So basically, when you have the code in Java, for that code to execute, for that code to run, you should have this JRE. So, but JDK comes with that. So once you install JDK, you're good. So let's click on that. Now, if you scroll down a little bit here, notice that Java is right now, the JDK is, and this 8 means that it's Java 1.8, right? On my machine, if you see, I had Java 1.7, right? Java 1.7, and so the latest version of Java is Java 1.8. Okay, so there is a thumb rule, and that is whenever a new version of anything comes out, you give it some time before downloading it, because if there are some bugs or anything, it'll you have to give it at least 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months for it to settle down before you go for it. That's the reason I have 9. I have rather 7 and not 8. You can go ahead and then you could download Java from here. So which version of Java? Because there is Java for Linux, there is Java for Sun Solaris, there is Java for Mac, and for Windows, and in Windows this x86 and x64. Now, depending on what machine you have, majority of us, we have Windows, and so in Windows we have two choices here. We have x86 and x64. What's the difference between the two? Well, on every machine, if you see our operating system, we know the details of our operating system, whether we have a 32-bit operating system or a 64-bit operating system. You can find it out by going to your control panel. If you go to control panel, and in the control panel, usually people have either large or small icons. Because I'm doing a presentation, so I usually keep things as large. So in here, if you look for system, right here, it'll tell you what is the operating system. Now, if you see, it tells you that we have a 64-bit operating system. So my operating system is Windows 7 Ultimate. It really doesn't matter what operating system you have in terms of Windows, whether it is Windows 7 Home Edition, whether you have Windows 8, whether you have Windows XP, as long as you find out if it is a 64 or a 32-bit. Based on that, you would make your selection. So as an example, since I have 64, I'm going to be downloading this x64. So in order to download that, first of all, you have to accept the license up here. So you accept the license, and then you would click on that and you would download that. It's 180 megabytes. I'm not going to download because I already have it. So it really doesn't matter whether you have 7 or 8. Both are compatible. So you can just go ahead and then you can download it. And after you download it, you have to just click on it to install it. So run it, and then it takes about less than 2-3 minutes to install it. And once it is installed, if this window was open, close the window and then reopen the window, and then type Java -version, and that should give you this message 1.8, and then that means that your Java is installed. So that was the very first exercise, that you have to have Java on your machine. If you have Java on your machine, the next thing that we got to do is we got to go and then we got to install Selenium. So let's talk a little bit about Selenium. What is Selenium, and how we can be installing Selenium on our machine. So if you have heard of, if you're a manual tester, a lot of you folks have heard about QTP. QTP is a tool that's been around for many years, and people have been using QTP. What QTP does is it's an tool to basically go and do automation testing. The difference between QTP and Selenium is Selenium is an open source, meaning that it's free compared to QTP. QTP is license-based, so you have to pay, your company has to pay a lot of money before they could even use that. So many companies are moving towards, to save money, they are moving towards Selenium, and Selenium has given tough competition to QTP and has taken the front seat right now, and it has become the tool of choice for automation testing right now. Okay, so how and where can we go to download Selenium? So you go to Google and say download Selenium. When you do that, it brings you to this site. This site, seleniumhq.org, this site can be treated as the Bible for Selenium. Anything you want in Selenium, you could get in here. We are here on the download page, and on the download page, if you see, we have so many things in here, right? If you see, there are so many things in here. So I'm gonna take you step by step and then walk you through. As we need them, we will be coming here and then downloading stuff. Okay, so first things first. Selenium basically comes in three forms. So there is Selenium with let me do it here in Notepad. There is Selenium as, let's say, Selenium IDE and Selenium RC Server and Selenium WebDriver. So these are, try and understand, these are three components of Selenium. Selenium as a software, this is what is Selenium. It's a software to test web applications. So your Selenium, you could use Selenium as Selenium IDE or Selenium RC Server, Selenium WebDriver. Okay, the focus of this course is going to be Selenium WebDriver, all 7 weeks after today's class. Today I will not touch WebDriver, but after today's class, all 7 classes will be about WebDriver. So you could imagine the amount of content that I would be covering as a part of Selenium WebDriver. But we also have to have an idea about IDE and RC Server, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I will be introducing you to Selenium through IDE today. And RC Server, it is I can almost get away by saying that RC Server has become obsolete because not many companies are using RC Server anymore, because RC Server is an older way of testing your web applications using Selenium. So in the year 2010, 2009, 2010, 2011, RC Server was pretty big at that time because WebDriver was not there. So anybody and everybody who was doing automation testing in those old times in the year 2009, 10, and 11, they were using RC Server. But today, very few companies use RC Server. Almost nobody uses RC Server, and everyone uses something called WebDriver. And that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll be doing a lot of WebDriver as a part of this course. So what is IDE? What is Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE is a way of recording. You don't have to write the scripts. You don't have to create these scripts. You can get away by recording the scripts and running or playing those recordings. So in real life, you have a very little use of IDE, depending on who you are, because majority of the times you will be creating those scripts using something called WebDriver and Java that you have to write. You have to create that code. So since we are new to Java right now, we don't know Java, so we will at least today we will focus on IDE. All right. Okay. So where do we get IDE? How can we download IDE? Where do we get IDE from? So in order to download Selenium IDE, that's where we will go. We will go to that seleniumhq.org, and we could download the Selenium IDE from there. So how are we going to do that? So I have shown you, I'm just, as I'm talking to you, I'm just trying to make my, hang on for a second. I forgot to hook up my USB here for, if I need to draw something, I have a sort of a thing here that allows me to draw, and I forgot to hook it up. Okay, here we are. Okay, so the idea here is we have applications, right? Applications, if you notice, any software applications, right? And any software applications can be classified as follows, right? There are, in the previous time, there was something called mainframe applications, right? Now, some of you folks might have worked on mainframes as well. This is in the late 60s, early 70s, and even up to 80s. Mainframes were extremely popular, and even today, some of the companies they use it. Right in 80s and 90s came something called client server technology. With the client server, lot of applications, they are called your desktop applications, right, are created using the client server. These are usually the back office systems, so they can be tested using softwares like QTP and all that. So those are client server applications. So we are talking about software, different types of software applications, mainframe, client server. And the most popular ones are, in today's world, are basically your web applications. Web applications are something that run in a browser. So these are browser-based applications, right? And lastly, you have today, you have mobile applications. All right. Okay. So if I'm using Selenium, what can I test using Selenium? This course is all about using Selenium to test web applications, right? Selenium cannot test client server applications. Selenium will not be able to do mainframe applications. Selenium can do mobile applications, but we will not be testing the mobile applications as a part of this course, because I just cannot do justice to that part by using it, by covering it as a part of this course, because if you see here, we have mobile automated testing course. That's a 16-hour course, and that's basically what we cover as a part of a course. A lot of stuff that is there to be covered, right? So just setting up the environment itself would take a pretty long time. So coming back to what I will be doing, I will not be covering the mobile application. So the complete course will be about web applications. All right. So web applications is nothing but anything that runs inside a browser is a web application. And as you all know, there are multiple application browsers these days. There is IE, there is Chrome, there is Firefox, there is Opera, there is many others, right? Safari and whatnot, right? So these are the most popular ones. So our focus will be here, but I'll also show you as how to test in the other browsers. So when it comes to like testing the applications in different browsers, I will show you as how to write the logic to do that. Okay, now since Selenium comes as IDE and RC server, so our focus is IDE. So let's talk about the pros and cons of using IDE. First of all, where to get it from, right? And then we will look into how to use it, right? So where to get it from? So here we are. We are at, we did Google search and we came here, right? So I said download Selenium and I clicked on that and I came over here to the download page. What you do is right here, it says the Selenium standalone server. So I'm not going to read everything, but very briefly, um, the Selenium server is needed in order to run either the Selenium RC server style scripts or remote Selenium WebDriver ones, right? So what we can do is we can download from here. If you see here. Selenium IDE. If you see here, Selenium IDE, right? Selenium IDE is a Firefox plugin. So what happens is the disadvantage of using Selenium IDE is Selenium IDE works only with Firefox. Now, we just mentioned here that we might have to do the testing for IE and Google Chrome and Opera and Safari. So since Selenium IDE works only with Firefox, that itself is a huge disadvantage, right? So if that's the disadvantage, then why even bother learning about Selenium IDE, you may ask. The answer to that is I will show you a trick. I will show you a trick, probably not today, maybe in the next class. I will show you a trick that by learning Selenium IDE, even though it says that it's a Firefox plugin, meaning that it can work only for Firefox, I will show you a trick, and by learning that trick, we could use it for any of the browsers. For any of the browsers, I'll show it to you. So how can we download and prepare the environment to use this? Lakshmi, I will come to you in just a minute. If you had a question, I will come to you in a minute. I see your hands raised, so I'll come to you in a minute. So to download and install this, as you can see, we come in here and then we could download it. The latest version is 2.9, right? It was released in the March of 2015. So you have a choice of either going with that or going with this, right? So it's totally up to you. I, again, want to play safe, so I don't rush if something new comes out, only because it might not be fully tested, even though from March to July has been 4 months now, so we could pretty much go with that. But let's go with this. All right. So we're going to be downloading. Now, people have perception that when you are talking about download, probably it's something that's going to take like a few minutes to download. But since it's a Firefox plugin, the condition is you should come to this website. You should come to seleniumhq.org using Firefox. Many people, they keep forgetting about it. So I want you to remember that come here to this Selenium HQ or go to Google by using Firefox. So you say, I don't have Firefox. Well, many people will not have many things on their machine. So day one and sort of like day two is all about preparing the environment. What do you mean by preparing the environment? Try and have things that we need to run Selenium on our machines. So since we need to download Firefox and install it, I will expect that you know how to do it. So you go to Google, say download Firefox, go to Firefox, download it, install it, and then you will have Firefox, and come here using Firefox. And once you click on that, it'll say that Firefox has prevented from installing this. Do you want to allow? Sure, I want to allow. And once you do that, it says that, it is trying to install the following: Ruby formatters, Python formatters, and C# formatters, Java formatters. Okay, what are these things? Now, understand that Selenium, right? Selenium has this RC IDE and WebDriver, right? Okay, now WebDriver, using WebDriver, you will be creating or building what? Building scripts. Scripts are nothing but short programs, right? Or code, right? So these are programs or code. So when you talk about code or program, you need a programming language to write your scripts. And Selenium supports, of course, Java, and that's the reason we are here. But Selenium also supports something called Ruby, Python, C#, .NET, right? Many other languages, right? Okay, so we will unfortunately not be learning this, not be learning that, not be learning that. We'll be focusing only on Java, right? If you take that combo package, then you would also be learning this, right? Now, since I have an opportunity here, I will shamelessly pitch and have a plugin for this thing. One second here. We have, as you might be reading here, and some of you might have received the invitation, we are also starting the Ruby Cucumber RSpec Capybara Water course today, right? So that's this course. Now, this course again is a sort of like an high-end skill set that you would like to have if you really want to add a value to your resume. The reason I am drawing your attention to this is a $499 course, right? Now, we have these things going on, some promotions going on today or for some time now. Buy two get one free. So basically for the $799, you are getting Ruby Cucumber, which is a $500 course, and you could also be getting this Selenium with Java, which is a $400 course, and then you could take any other course that's also like $400 or $500. So something worth $1,500 stuff, you could be getting it for $799. And today's class for Ruby Cucumber starts at it's the same. Today we are starting July 25. We have started this. This is this session. The next session is that, and I have sent out invitation to most of you folks. It's going to be free for day one, so you could come and then watch around 2 o'clock. If you're free, you could come and then watch that. So there we'll be focusing on Ruby. So forgive me for this plugin, but Ruby is a language, so you would be seeing me teaching Ruby at that time and not Java in that course. And there is also something called Cucumber, and that's what that course is all about. It's a high-end skill set. And then there is particularly if there are folks from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, there is a huge presence or need for Ruby Cucumber, because a lot of jobs are there, and also in Atlanta and other parts as well. But that's where the main focus is for Ruby Cucumber. Anyway, so let's come back, and I was addressing that programming languages that are needed to code your scripts can be Java, Ruby, Python, and C#. So if we come back here, when I downloaded it, as you can see, when I downloaded it, it is coming back and it's saying that do I have permission to install this? Even though we are not using it, right? There's no problem in install, because this again is a plugin. It won't take anything, for you to install that. It takes like less than 30 seconds or actually less than 10 seconds to install it. So it's done because it's a plugin. It's done. So restart now. You're not restarting your machine. You're restarting your Firefox. So once you do that, it's going to restart your browser. And now, believe it or not, Selenium IDE is installed. Now you would say, where is it? How can I see it? Where is it? Well, this is what you got to be doing. So again, in Firefox, if you come here all the way in the top, under Tools, you see that there is a Selenium IDE, right? There is Selenium IDE. Now, people would say that I don't even see this tool. That is because you don't have your menu bar checked. If you don't have your menu bar checked, you cannot be seeing tools. So come over here, check your menu bar, and go under Tools, and here is your Selenium IDE. So let's start to use Selenium IDE. Now, before I open Selenium IDE, let me ask you folks if there are any questions. Lakshmi, you had your hand raised, so I will unmute you. I don't know if you have had any questions, so I'm just going to unmute you thinking you had a question. Okay, if you have a question, talk to me. I have unmuted.
Hey, I lost audio connection in between, so I thought of asking you if I lost or something is wrong.
All right. Basically, what happens is whenever you lose an audio connection, if everybody in the session loses it, they all will make a noise about it. So since nobody except you did, I'm under the impression that everything is good, and now you're hearing me, so we are back. So usually
Yeah.
the solution is, let's say if after you do everything, even after trying everything, it doesn't come back, you just log out and come back in, and then that should solve the problem.
Okay.
Right?
And are you going to record these sessions and send us, because I did not get a chance to take complete notes?
Yeah, everything is going to be recorded. Every session is recorded, and then we will give you access to it. I'm going to be uploading it. The video is going to be 2 hours long, so as soon as we finish it, it'll take about 45 minutes for me to process the video, and then we will upload it. So it'll be there. So we'll let you know when the video is uploaded.
Okay.
All right?
And
Yeah.
one more question. If I want to install IDE, do I have to have Java on my machine?
That was the very first condition, that you should have Java, because Java, even though most of the machines they have Java, but we are not looking at just the IDE. We are looking at preparing our machine so that we could do this whole course. So you have to have Java installed on your machine. So if not, then follow the instructions. If you did not hear me at that time, if your audio was acting up, when the video will be uploaded, you should be able to watch and download Java. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I have Java 1.6 installed. Will that be okay for this training? Rahul, I think that should work fine. You should not have any issues. So you'll be fine with 1.6 as well. But it is preferred to be either 1.7 or 1.8. But 1.6 should work fine as well, right? But that's a very old version of that, unless you're having an old machine, because 1.7 itself is about 4 years old. So 1.6 probably is like older than that. So it's better if you can bring it up at least to 1.7. And you could, if you don't want to go to 1.8, you could do a search on Google for download Java 1.7, and it will take you to the right page, and then you could download that. All right. Okay. So let's see if anybody else has any questions before we get started with the Selenium IDE. So anybody, any questions about anything? This is the time. Okay. Alrighty. So now let's get into IDE. So I showed you right here that when IDE is installed, this is what it is going to show up there, right, as IDE. So let's get started. So when you click on that, now only because I have shown this in the previous classes, it is going to open like that, but in your case, it should not open like this. It should open as something different. So I will fix it. Okay, so when you do this, it should open up like that. It should open up like that. Okay, now let's take a look at this tool and try and understand, what this tool is capable of doing and how we can use this tool. Now, like any other tool that you have used in the past, right? It has got the menu items on the top. So if you see here, this is file and all that. So that's the menu item. So we will be looking into how to use the menu. And then there is something called base URL. So any application, Selenium is used to test web applications, correct? So any web application that you are going to test, you have to type the address of that over here. All right, so that's what you got to do. So you got to type the address. So we will very quickly we'll come up with a test case, and then we'll go about testing it. Right now I'm showing you the tool. Now there is something called a tool. This is something called a toolbar that you would be using for shortcuts, and I will show you what those things are as we progress. Now, Selenium IDE does what? It does testing, and we cannot be doing testing unless we have some test case, right? So let's go and have a test case for what we are going to be testing. All right, so since we say that we are going to be testing an application, in the beginning, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. Day 1, day 2, day 3, I'm going to keep it a little simple. And as we move further into the course, then we will go about testing some complex test cases. The first one is going to be a simple test case that we are going to automate now. All right. What is that test case? Well, let me take you to TrainingRight.net, not .com, .net, right? TrainingRight.net. In TrainingRight.net, if you scroll down here, you will see that we have a login here. We could log in, right, to the portal. So in order to log in, you have to have a phone number and a password, and then you could log in. Now, so basically you have to be a member of the site to log in. Now, let's say you are not a member of this site. If you're not a member of this site, then new customers can create an account here by signing up. So I will go and sign up right now. So think about this. Your application, the developers are building, they will have this new feature called sign up and login, and you have to test this. So manual testing for this is you will go to the sign up, and then you have to basically go and enter these details. Enter the first name, right? Enter the last name, enter email address. So I'm just going to put TrainingRight@gmail.com. Come up with a password. Let's say the password is password. Verify password is that. Home phone number. I'm going to use the company number. And cell phone number, I'll pretty much use the same one. And instructions, I'll say that this is a test from day 1 of Selenium, August 2015 batch. All right. Okay. So I did enter some of the details, and I'm gonna hit submit. Right. And what I expect right now is it should be able to add this. So I'm added with this number, right? And whatever password I've used, I've been added to basically this system. So let me come back and log myself in. So if I go in here and if I log myself in here with that number 73299866650, and the password is password, right? When I submit, I should be able to log in, right? Now, there's a disclaimer here. In real life, this doesn't happen, but only for testing purpose, I have allowed multiple logins with the same username and password. I mean, doesn't make sense at all, because in real life you should have only one for this same number, and if somebody else is trying to come up with the same number, it should say that that account already exists. But I have relaxed that rule only for testing purpose. In real life, that doesn't happen. So if I submit, don't be surprised to see, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3. So we have, so all this I would have used in the previous classes. So that's why we have that. So the point to be taken from this little exercise here is, when you are logging in, right, you have to have an account, and when you're logging in, all what I did so far was everything manually. So what if I have to do this as a part of automation? If I have to create these test cases as a part of the automation, how do I do it? Now, believe it or not, you will not believe it, but behind the scenes, it was already done. If you see here, all this, see, behind the scenes, it was already done. You would say that, what? How did it happen? What is all this? I have no clue what is all this, right? Well, now, what happens is, if you pay attention to this thing here, right? If you pay attention to that, whenever you open Selenium IDE, this tool is already in the recording mode. So it is already recording. So whatever you perform, whatever you do on the browser, behind the scenes, it is already recording. How does it record? Every action that I performed on this browser, it took it as a command. So there are three things: command, target, and value. So anything that I did, it took it as a command, and it basically, the first command was, I opened this TrainingRight.net. So it said open, and this / means that whatever is in the base URL, that's what it opened. So that's what it recorded. Next thing is, it said clicked and wait. So I clicked on something and wait. What is that something that I clicked? It doesn't know, but then it had recorded that. Then after that, it said he typed. What did I type and where did I type? I typed, the value is Irfan, and I typed into something called this is main content txt first name, and we have no clue what that is, but it recorded all that. So our job right now is to understand as how this was created, right, and how this is going to work. So right now, whatever was created, I created without even telling you, right? But let me just show you how this will work, and then we will go about creating it again, but not necessarily on the same application, but on a different application. So let me show you how this works. So in order to, now that it had created this, all this test case, all this, whatever we have done was a test case, right? So I have to save it. So here is the test case. Untitled means that there's no name for it. I have to save all this, so I will give it a name. So I will go to File and say save test case as. Okay, here is the deal. Now, what I want you to do is, on your file system in C drive, I want you, I like to keep my things organized, so that if you wake me up at 2 in the morning and say that, can you give me the stuff that we covered in the year 2013 and in the month of April, I should be able to give you that, right? Why? Because I have everything organized. Now, in your project, right, it's always better if you organize stuff. So the way I want you to organize is on your, at least while this training goes, on your C drive, create a folder for Selenium. So if you see here, I've created a folder for Selenium Java training. Create this folder on your machine, right? And inside it, as time goes, I will show you to create all of these folders. But right now, just create one folder called IDE test cases. Because whenever we create an IDE test case, we want to save it. So we created an IDE test case. I want to save it. So where are we going to save it? We are going to save it in Selenium Java training in C drive, right? And in there, you should also have a folder for IDE test cases. Now I'm saving it there. So I go save test case as, and in here, from my previous batches, I have saved some, right? So this is going to be a new one. So this is a TrainingRight TR, right? And this is, I would say, member, new member, and also the login, right? Test case, right? Okay, so that's basically what I will save it as, right? So I saved that. Now we are going to run it. Before I run, I notice that Piyush has a question, so I'm going to unmute him. And okay, go ahead if you have a question. Hello.
Yeah, Irfan, I want to ask, did it record all these actions because you entered the base URL manually, or did it automatically populate the base URL?
Okay, that's a good question. That is a good observation and a good question. Appreciate you asking that. That is because I had it originally. I had it in there, right?
Okay.
I had it in there. So best practice is you should come and type it in there. You should type it in there, and then it will record it. And because that's what you should be doing. So now, is there anything else that you would?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So now we will go about running it. So in order to run this, notice up here we have these buttons. So there is this button which says that play entire test suite. So a test suite is a collection of test cases. Fortunately, unfortunately, right now we have only one test case. We have only one test case, right? That one test case is a combination of creating a new and then logging in also. Later on, we will split it into two test cases. But right now, that's the one test case we have, which is making it as a new member and logging in. So if we have more than one, that's what we will do. Since we have only one, it doesn't matter if I do this or do that because it's the current one that we would be executing. Now notice there is something called fast and slow. Now when you are executing it, if you want to execute it like a human, then you put it in slow and it is going to mimic as if a human being is entering it compared to a robot. Fast is the robot and slow is more like a human. All right. But rather you could control the speed of execution. All right. Okay. Now we will go about playing it. Now while we do that, I want you to look at two things. It's going to go in this order, and as it is executing each and every command, this is one command, this is another command, this is a third command, and as it is executing it, it's going to be a beige color, and after it executes it, it is going to be light green color. And based on all of these commands, if any one of the command fails here, it'll give you a big huge red. If all of them they pass, it gives you a green. So that tells you that our test case did pass, meaning that we have automated it and it did pass. All right. Really doesn't matter where you are. When you say run, it'll run from the top. But just to be on the safe side, just keep it there. And while I'm running, this part I don't need to see, so I could do this, right? And I'm just looking at and I can even do this, right, so that I could focus more on the browser as what is happening on the browser, right? So here is my browser. I can be anywhere. So let's say I'm on Yahoo, right? And really doesn't matter because the first command is open this base URL. So if I do that, it is going to bring me there, right? And it would have clicked on that, and it is typing that, typing that, typing that, and basically it is going to, and as you watch it, okay, here is the problem. Now notice it did up to this part, and it kind of like failed here. So if I bring it back, it's a fail. So if I, as you see here, so it did that. So let's go through the steps. It did open. Next thing is it clicked on that, and there was a sign up button, and it brought here, it typed my name there, right? It typed my name there, and then it typed my last name there. It typed my email address there, my password, and all that. So while it did all this, up to this point, it did it. Now here, it failed. The reason it failed, and it is very important for you folks to understand, is all this was on one page. Now it has to actually go to this other page. It has to go here, and it has to go here and scroll all the way down, and then enter it. So what happened? It was unable to do it. Why it was unable to do it? Because at this point, now by the time Selenium IDE executed it, the browser was not able to go to the previous page. So the best thing here that we should and could have done here is insert some weight here. So we could right click and we could insert our commands in here. So when I insert a command, I could have inserted a command. Now the command, whatever commands you want to insert, you could do those commands in here. So as you can see, wait, so you are saying either wait for what? Wait for the page to load, right? Or you can say, so there are different things that you could do, right? Wait till you see that particular element, right? Wait for the element, wait for element not present. So we could do wait for element present, right? And then we could basically go and then we could type at that time. Okay. Now the commands here, the commands what you see here, right, are not necessarily too important to know, even though there are huge number of commands in here, as you can see, huge number of commands, because the idea here is to use WebDriver and not necessarily IDE. But then you would say that if I'm not using IDE, why are you even bothering teaching IDE? Well, the reason I'm teaching you IDE is because of that trick that I'm going to show you in the next class. Now, if you follow that trick, if you if you understand that trick, now right in the next class, you can call yourself as an intermediate level of Selenium person, Selenium automation tester. Why? Because that will solve majority of your problems. If you don't know anything to do, you come back and then you record, and then basically it will record everything that you want to do. If you don't know as how to write the code, you could come back, you could record, and then it is going to generate that code for you in any language that you want. If you want in C#, it can generate in C#. If you want in Java, it can generate in Java. Now, a good part of it is the tool is capable of giving you the code, but the flip side of it is what good that code is going to be if you cannot understand it. So the question now becomes is, if somebody gives you the code, what are you going to do with that code? Well, it'll be better if you understand that code, right? So that's basically going to be our focus for the next 7 weeks, is to not only understand the code, but have the ability to create that code. Now, I don't want to scare you right now, but for the next few minutes, I will take you away from IDE only to just demonstrate to you, just give you an idea of what you are getting into. All right. Okay. So we will still come back to IDE in a minute, but we are digressing because I want to make a point, and that point is Selenium jobs. Selenium jobs on an average are paid as 42 to $75 an hour. Right, this is an hour I'm talking about. Right. Okay. This is how can I say? This is somebody who has about 6 years of experience with Selenium. Somebody who is starting out, right? You can get that kind of a money, $42 an hour, right? Again, it depends on what market, where you are. If you are in East Coast and West Coast, you could demand more money. But if you are in Oshkosh, if you are like in Montana, I mean, why in the world somebody would be in Montana? That's question we could talk about on a different day. But wherever things are happening, you could expect that you could get this kind of a money. So if you take the lower end of it, which is, let's say, 42 or even $38 or something, right? That's some significant amount of money. Multiply that by 2,000, that is going to be your annual salary. So you're talking about hitting more than 70,000, right? And I'm being very, very conservative now with my numbers. I'm not fluffing it. I'm not exaggerating it. So if somebody is paying you 70, 80, $90,000 per year, they expect you to know a little bit more than recording, right? So that is the reason I will stop the recording part today. And the next 7 classes are going to be learning about how to create what? How to create basically the end product that we'll be creating is we will be creating frameworks. So we will be creating excellent Java frameworks for Selenium. That's going to be our objective. So if I don't know anything about Java, how can I even go and then create these frameworks? You have little support, or I shouldn't be saying little, you have a lot of support of Java, believe it or not, coming from Selenium IDE. So you would say that I have never seen Java there. What I saw was some command and some target and some value. I've never seen anything like that. Well, that's what I was talking about. I'll be sharing with you a trick tomorrow, or tomorrow, where I will show you the Java code that gets generated. But again, what that code is going to look like will probably make your eyes pop out because we don't know Java. So we have to learn Java. And that's what my focus is going to be in the next few classes, to teach you Java. So Java Java means different for different people. So for a layman, Java is probably, if you go to Indonesia, Java is that's the coffee, right? Now for IT people, Java is a programming language, which is used by developers, right, or programmers. So we are not developers, we are not programmers, we are automation engineers. So we are not comparing that we will be knowing everything of Java as a developer or as a programmer would know, but we will be knowing quite a bit of Java to do what? To get our job done, which is to build excellent Java framework, right, using Selenium. So what do we need to know? Here are the things that we need to know, right? Okay, now bear with me when I do this. I want you to focus. I want you to focus on what I am going to show you right now and share with you right now. As an automation tester, there are no ifs and buts, no as an automation tester, particularly using Java, you are expected to know the following, right? You should know about variables, right? What are variables, right? What are those? How do you create them? How do you use them? How to create and how to use them in our scripts, right? So we should be well versed with variables. That's number one, right? You should know. Number two, you should know about arrays, right? So again, what are arrays? How do you create them? How to use them in your scripts? Arrays are something called single dimensional arrays, and then there are multi-dimensional arrays, right? So we'll be looking into arrays, right? So we'll be looking into variables and arrays. So when it comes to Java, you have to know about what? Variables. You have to know about arrays. What's number three? You have to know about functions, right? What are functions? How do you create them? How do you use them? Functions, they are simple functions with no parameters. What are parameters, and all that I'll discuss about when we do that. And then there are not necessarily complex functions, but there are functions with parameters, right? So we should be knowing about functions. Number four, you should be knowing about here conditional logic. What do you mean by conditional logic? Well, if the class starts at 10 a.m., then I have to wake up at 7 a.m. if I live in California, right? If the class starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, then I have to wake up at whatever, 8 a.m., right? I mean, the thing that you have to take away from here is if. Conditional logic, if something is true, then you want to do this, right? Else if something else is true, then do this. Else, do that, right? So how to construct this conditional logic from a tester's perspective? Because again, we are learning all this from a tester's perspective. So we got to be knowing about if statements, how to do that, right? That's conditional logic. Number five, you have to know about loops. Because if you have to run a test 20 times, 20 is a number that I'm throwing out. It could be any n number of times if you're learning, if you're running it. And each time if you run it, you will use a different set of data every time. Then we have to create something called loops. There's something called for loop that we should be knowing as how to write for loops and all that, and that's what I'll be showing you as a part of one. Last but not the least is your knowledge about classes and objects, right? So this is a part of object-oriented programming, right? Okay, so I expect, right, that when I start these topics, right, you will not only follow what I am doing, but you will be doing the assignments, you will be completing the assignments, right? Because these topics, for if you are a manual tester, or if you have not tasted the flavor of programming in your previous life, it is going to be a bit challenging, right? Now, but at the end of the day, these all these things are doable. As an average student, I'm not saying that you have to be, you know, very, very smart in here. You have to be, we are not writing any code for NASA that we have to be like, pulling our hair out and we got to be like extremely smart and all that. Even regular people like me can do it. So the fact that you are already very smart will make it easy for you. So the only thing that I need from you is commitment. I need from you serious commitment to this program. Don't come here just to kill time or just to get away from your wife or your husband, and then you want to. No, that's not the intention here. We want to learn. We want to make the best out of it. Fast forward 4 weeks, you should be able to write. You should be able to build, good frameworks. And out of 17, 18 people that are here, I can tell you about 80% of you will be getting good, decent jobs in the next 6 weeks. Now, my focus is not that 80% because you're putting the effort and you will reap the benefits. My focus is the other 20%. And those people will not get a job. Now, I don't want you to be in that group. Who are going to be in that group? If you do not complete the assignment, I don't have to tell you. You would know that you are not going to be. You will not get the job because you will be that 20% who will find every excuse under the sun to just come up with any reason to say that, oh, I got to take my daughter to her dancing class, or I have to take my son to the basketball game, or I had to cook for my husband, or I had to take care of the project. There's so much of work in my project that I don't get time. Well, you will get time. And how much time are we talking about? We are talking about, apart from these classes, anyhow, you are here 2 hours every session, so 4 hours in a week you are giving me. Apart from it, I want you to give another 4 hours. So can you give 8 hours in a week? So there are 24 hours in a day times 7 days. So you count the total number of hours. And from that, I'm just asking you for 4 hours of your time. And some people will take less than that. Some people will complete the assignments probably in half an hour. Right? And those are the smart ones, right? And for somebody like me, it might take like an hour, hour and a half, right? So the commitment is what I ask, right? So for the next 4 weeks, if you have something, please find time for this, take this seriously, and if you take it seriously, I promise you that you will be making good, decent money. All right. Now, if you go to dice.com, right, Selenium, right, doesn't matter any location. So I'm just gonna do this and say Selenium, right, and I'm not giving the location. Let's see where can we find Selenium jobs, right? So if you notice, there are 1,340, forget about 1,349, right? Forget about 1,000. Even though there are 349 opportunities, even though it says 1,349, 349 opportunities. Take a look, it's everywhere. This is Illinois, this is New Jersey, this is California, again California, and Texas, San Antonio, and Virginia, Austin, DC, San Jose, California, Texas, New Jersey. If you don't see your place in there, don't worry about it. Just search by your place, right? Because out of 1,349, probably that's it's not necessarily in any particular order that we are seeing. So Jobs are plenty. Jobs are plenty. We have to bring ourselves to a point that we should be able to get those jobs. And the only way you would be able to find yourself working in the next 6 weeks is if you commit yourself to the program. All right. Okay. That brings us to brings us here to a point where I can give you a peek right into what is coming up. Now, I will very quickly show you what you will be building in the next 8 weeks, right? The idea is you will be getting into automation by writing, building code, and in order to build the code, you have to use a tool. The tool we will be using is Eclipse. All right, tool we'll be using is Eclipse, and I'm going to take you into one of the previous batches, let's say, and I'm just giving you a peek into what is coming up in the next 7 classes, right? And then we'll get back to IDE, and I'll finish off the day with some assignments and Q&A. Okay, so tomorrow I will get you started with Eclipse. Okay, all right. So if you see here, right, this is all I will be showing you as we write the code. I will be showing you as how to write some comments and how to understand things. Okay, so if you see, I'm just scrolling down, and if you see, this is the code that we will be writing. Now you would say, what in the world is all this? Because I have no clue what you are trying to do here. I have absolutely no idea what you're showing me here, right? Of course you have no idea. Of course you have no idea what I'm showing you here. But this is exactly what we're going to be doing. You would say that, nah, come on. I mean, all this time, man, I mean, you had built my hopes so high. I was thinking that I would be doing this, but now showing this, you like, it's like my balloon is deflated right now. I have nothing. I don't think. Here is a little secret, right? All this can be learned. All this can be learned absolutely in no time, provided you have the attitude, because I am showing you some serious tricks in this course. Of course, will be teaching you everything, whatever is needed. And most of you already know through the videos that, you know, if you watch the videos, you know how deep we go line by line. We will make it interesting. I can assure you, you will be coming back for more and more, and that is exactly what happens once you get into this training with the right approach and the right attitude. So I need you to have a positive attitude, saying that yes, I can do it and I will do it, right? No, we are not borrowing any line from President Obama that but it applies to anyone and everyone. If you have the right approach and you have right attitude, you can do it, and these things are doable. So at some point I will be introducing you to Java programming, right? And as you can see, we have done some Java programming here and all that, so we will be doing all that, and then you will be seeing as how we are building some you know, frameworks, and how we'll be doing things in there, like as you can see here, the code, right? So we'll be doing all this, right? So we'll be doing all that. So at this time, if you have any question, feel free. You should be asking me that question. If not, I'm gonna take you back into Selenium IDE and do a little bit more there. So okay, so basically, okay, let me take your questions. It is better if you uninstall before you install a 1.7, or you can install 1.7 and it'll keep both 1.6 as well as 1.7. So it will keep both. Anything that is installed, the most recent one, it will use that. So basically what happens is when you install Java, I was going to show you in the second class, in tomorrow's class, about the environment, but I will quickly show you, but I will explain all about these things in the next class. So when we install, it goes and we have to create what is called the environment variable called Java home, and then we have to say that I am using 1.7 and I want the computer to use 1.7. So we have to do that, and I'll be showing you this tomorrow. So I will or you know what, let me discuss about it right now. Okay, so the question that Rahul had was, I have an older version of Java. Do I need to uninstall it to install the newer version of Java? So let's say if he has 1.6 and he wants to install 1.7, or if you have 1.7, you want to install 1.8. Basically what happens is when you install something, your computer must know what you have installed, right? And majority of the times, the computer knows what you have installed because the software itself will write that information in two places. Where are those two places? Those two places are, one is called the environment variables on your system, and the second one is the registries on your system, right? Okay, any software that you install, let's say if you install Microsoft Word, or if you install a database, or if you install any software, these are the two areas where it writes, right? Not necessarily that it has to write in these two areas, but generally these are the two areas. Either it writes here or it writes here. Sometimes it writes in both the places. So that's what. So when we are installing Java, it should also write at these two places. Unfortunately, any software that is open source, right, will not try to write into your repositories, into any of these areas, if it's an open source software. So we have to take that task of writing it into the either into the registries or the environment. We as an humans, we should not touch registries unless you know what you're doing. If you're a if you're a hacker, and then if you want to get in and then extend some softwares, and if you know things, then that's up to you, right? But we should not be touching it. Whereas the environment variables, I think, even though this is also a sensitive area, but we should be able to go ahead and then do it. So now I'm going to show you as how to set up the environment variable, right? So environment variable information can be found when you go from start to control panel, right? Start to control panel, and then look for system. And in system, if you see here, this is the advanced system settings. As it says, it's advanced system settings, right? So don't play with it unless you know what you're doing. So, and I'm showing you what you should be doing. So click on that. And when you click on that, in the bottom here is the environment variables. So you see so many tabs here, and the bottom is the environment variables in the advanced tab. So environment variables. Okay. Here, there are two sections. There's a section here on the top, and then there is a section here on the bottom, right? You got to work with both the sections, both the areas. So let's start off with the top area. In the top area, so what you have to do in the top area is you have to create a variable called Java_home. So it has to be uppercase Java_home, right? And how do you create it? You basically would create by going to new, and you would say Java_home. underscore home. And where is Java underscore home is where did you install Java? And on every machine, softwares they get installed on a Windows machine, they get installed either in the program files or program files 86, x86, right? Okay, so let's go into the x86 and see if there is Java there. So if you go in here and if you see, so this is in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Java. Java is there. So Java is there. This is JRE. Okay, that's fine. Let's come back here and go into program files. This is x86. x86 is 32-bit, and this is 64-bit. And if you go in here and see if Java is there, yeah, sure, Java is there. And Java JDK 1.7 is there. So if you go in here, right, and inside here there's a bin directory. Inside the bin directory is your Java, right? So this is your path. This is your path. Program files, Java, JDK 1. And bin. So if you come here and if you look at it, the one that I had, if you look at it, the one that I had, I'm saying Java home, and I'm saying the home is here. Home is here, meaning before the bin. So this is the home. This is the home. This is the home, right? And that's exactly what I'm saying. If you see program file Java JDK, so that's what you have to create. That's the home. Okay, so that's the top part, right? Now let's go into the bottom part. In the bottom part, you are not creating anything. There is not new. You are not doing this, right? You are looking for something called a variable called path, P-A-T-H, path, right? Okay, so the path, be careful, be very careful, be very, very, very careful. All right. Okay, that was the disclaimer. I'm not responsible if you screw up your machine, right? At the same time, don't be scared. If you follow the instructions, you can do it. So here, go to edit, right? And if you see here, there is a lot of information here, right? Don't worry about it. Just go to the end, right? So you go to the end. So you have come to the end here. Here, if at the end, if there is no semicolon, put a semicolon, right? And up to this bin, you take it, you copy it, and you come back and you paste it. Control V to paste it. So see here, what did I paste? C colon program file Java JDK 1. Up to bin. So you hit OK, because for me it's already there. So in the top one, no need to go up to bin, just up to this. This is the home. And in the bottom one, you have to go up to bottom one. In the path, you have to go edit the path. Don't remove everything. Don't remove anything, rather. Come to the end. Come to the end by clicking on the end button. If there is no semicolon, put a semicolon and then copy the path up to bin, right? And hit OK. Hit OK. And once you do that, if the window was open, close the window and reopen the window again, and then type Java -version, and it will pull up the version of what you have pointed. So you can point to 1.6 in the environment variables, and it will show you 1.6. If you point to 1.7, it will show you 1.7. If you point to 1.8, it will show you 1.8. So you could have multiple versions of Java sitting on your machine. Whatever you are pointing to in the environment variable is what it is going to use. All right. Okay. So that's if you have any question, ask me. If you're not, now if you have a Mac, I cannot even be discussing about it because I don't have a Mac here, and the course is all about Windows, so I cannot be. So you have to basically, just Google and find out, because I cannot be showing you about Mac. right? So unfortunately, so you should Google. This Mac is an excellent operating system, but try and keep yourself as close to real life as possible. And in real life, what are the chances that your company would be working on a Mac? So you will be working on Windows machines. So try and learn it from a Windows perspective. But for general knowledge, if you need to, you can Google. I don't know about Mac because I don't have one, so I cannot show it to you. All right. Okay, so that's that. So basically, now we have, before I go back to the Selenium IDE, we started off the session today by me mentioning it to you that Selenium comes in more than one form. So Selenium IDE, Selenium RC Server, Selenium WebDriver. So we touched base with the IDE. I've shown you where to download it from. We prepared our environment by going to that website using Firefox, and we downloaded that, and it was a plugin, so it took like less than a few seconds. And then I showed you as how to use, and we created a test case for TrainingRight login, and then we did that, right? Now, I have shown you, I've given you a glimpse of the WebDriver code by taking you into the Eclipse, but that's what is coming in starting from tomorrow's class. So the guy that is left in here is RC, right? Okay. Now, RC Server will be covered through the videos. So you have to, all of you folks who are who have already purchased the course have received the videos, right? Okay, so if you see here, we have different courses that we do. So these are the different courses that we have trained and all that. So I will be showing you about Selenium and about the RC server. So there is, in Selenium, there is something called Java must watch videos. Now here you will find some videos about RC server, right? RC server. So look into these videos, right? Look into these videos, watch these videos for RC server, because I will not be covering RC server during my lectures right here in the session. I will not be. So you should be using these videos. And if you see here, this video shows you how to automate a test for an insurance application using a Selenium RC server. And most of the time, these videos are about 40 minutes, 30 minutes long, so in your leisure time, they're not necessarily in any order. So you should be watching them as you feel is the right time. So after tomorrow's class, you are ready to watch these videos. Right now, they will probably might not make too much sense because I have not introduced you to Eclipse. So we will be talking about Eclipse in tomorrow's class. I will be introducing you to Eclipse, and tomorrow we will be creating our very first script with our own hands. So I will let you taste the flavor of Java tomorrow using Selenium with WebDriver, and we will be creating a script with our bare hands tomorrow, right? So you would be learning quite a significant amount of stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's class must never be missed. Some people, they have to go to church, I understand. So that's a good thing. And you're not missing anything because one good thing that we are doing is we are recording these sessions. So if we are recording the sessions, when you come back from church, just play those sessions, and then you would not miss anything, because everything that we would have covered, you would be able to watch and then do it, right? Okay. With that said, let's come back to Selenium IDE and do a little bit more about Selenium IDE. Okay, so here is a question, right? We want to automate a test case, right? And I will share with you that test case, right? And you tell me if you can do it or you cannot do it, right? So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, let's say there is a test case. Hang on for a second. Let me just find that test case for you to hang on. Okay. Okay, yeah, we will do that. I'm sorry, I'm just reading some stuff in here for okay. Alrighty. All right, so basically this is what I would do. As a part of your assignment, there are going to be two things that I want you to do. Assignment, right? Okay, A of the assignment is use IDE and automate new account test case, right? B is, this is the second test case, login test case. So these are two test cases, right? Okay. No, I was writing in the, I'm assigning it to you, so I'm not writing it in the notepad, so it's there, right? So these are two test cases, right? A and B, right? That I have done, you have watched, and then you could do it, right? Okay. Here is the challenge that you have to do. All right. Okay. Now, I want you to see this. TrainingRight.net/online, right? Online. So this is the address, right? And here is the test case that I want you to automate. You agree, and I know, and you know that I could do it, right? But I don't want to do it. I want you to do it. Okay, what's the test case? Okay, the objective here is to test the shopping cart application, right? Okay. Our objective is to test the shopping cart functionality. Okay. The functionality can be broken down as follows. A, right? Search for a product. That's one feature. Can you search for a product? Okay. Manual testing, the products can be, and I'm giving you because we kept the products as certain products: Canon, Panasonic, Samsung, right? These are the only products, right? Other products, if you search, they might not be there because I did not put it in there, right? So can you search for these products? A, is the site working for this product? Number two, can you add product or products to the cart? C, one second, I have to, one second, please. C is, can you modify cart? Now, modification is what? Modification is addition of more or removing items. Modify is adding or removing, adding or removing items from a cart, right? Can you do that? Okay. Number 4 or D is checkout process. Can you check out your cart? And checking out would require you to enter customer information and would require you to enter payment information, would require you to do shipping information, and finally confirmation, order confirmation. Okay, so these are the basically different things that we're going to be testing as a part of this application, right? Okay, now the whole thing can be one test case, right? The whole thing can be one test case, which is basically you are doing end-to-end testing of the shopping cart. Now, this is from a customer's view. Later on in this course, I'll be showing you the back office, which is the dashboard for the application, wherein we have to find out, like, as the website, right? If customer has to return a shipment, what should we be doing, right? We should be looking into the credit card processing, which credit card has charged for what particular order, right? We can be searching by a customer's name. We can be searching. So all that, the back office stuff, we'll be covering later on as a part of the phase 2. The phase 1 is basically, this is what we would like to do right now. All right. Okay. Now, would you believe if I tell you that, oh, all this you could do in 10 minutes? You would be like, come on, you're pushing it now. I don't think all this can be done in 10 minutes, right? Okay, all this can be done in 10 minutes if you're using IDE. This can be done in 10 minutes, right? If you're using WebDriver, right? And if you're doing a complete framework, right? Probably like 2 hours, right? Should be able to do everything in 2 hours, meaning that you will be learning everything as how to create the complete framework in about 2 hours using WebDriver. Using IDE, this should be like 10 minutes. You should be done with it. All right. Okay. So this is where we will be starting tomorrow, right? Now, I know some of you are like, your hands are itching. You would say that, oh, can I try it? Can I try it? I want to try it. I would say, go ahead, right? Because this is an optional assignment. The mandatory assignment I've given you, which is the login and the new account. This is the optional assignment because I've not shared with you the application. I mean, the only thing that I've done is here, right? Now, if you want to go ahead and then do it, I would appreciate it a lot. It is an optional assignment, so if you want, go ahead, do it. Otherwise, I'll be showing you. We're going to get started here tomorrow. I'll show it to you in 10 minutes how we can create it, and then we can do everything in 2 hours. This I will show you a trick of reducing it to even half hour. So forget about 2 hours. The complete framework, you could do it in half hour, right? I'll show it to you as well. All right, that trick, if you know that trick, we'll do it in half hour. All right, so that's where we stop today, right? So I'm going to be seeing those of you folks who have registered, right, who have already made the payments and all that. Here is the deal. I want each one of you, you are registered already. I know you are registered already, right? But we want an email from you sent out to TrainingRight@gmail.com, right? I want an email from you sent out to this address saying that I want to attend this batch, right? We want that in writing. So shoot us an email before even you leave. Shoot us an email, and these are the registered people. So I've already made the payment, and I want to register it. Now, for those of you folks who are auditing it and who are you know, still sitting on the edge and thinking whether you should do it or not, well, I think you know, I try to make a case that you should be doing it, but it's totally up to you if you want to do it or not. You at least have an idea of what we are getting into right now in this course. All right. Okay, so let me do a Q&A session right now. So the lines are open to whatever you want to ask, and I will be, you know, replying your questions. So either you could chat, type, or you could talk to me by voice. Just raise your hand and I will unmute you and you could talk to me. Sometimes, Rahul, sometimes if, okay, I will read out your question out loud. It says that, Rahul says, earlier, I tried to watch your videos and tried to record a test using the site, but I received a VB script error on my computer. Okay. A couple of reasons that might have happened, right? Okay, number one, we use this application with so many other courses. There's a QTP course, there is a load runner course, there's a JMeter course, there's a Ruby Cucumber course, there is a Selenium course, there is, like, you know, a coded UI course, a Microsoft Test Manager, there is a you know, so many other courses that we are using this this script. So sometimes if there is a little load on it, it starts to act a little crazy. So that could be it. So try it at a different time, and if you're still getting the error, the best thing is take a screenshot of that and use the our forums, private forums, to post it there, and that way we'll have an idea of what's going on and what is the error, and then we'll take care of it. The wait element that you have started with, do I need to use that to create a continue flow to create the new? Okay, that's Shubha, that's a good question. Basically, if you are going from one page to the other page, it's always better to use the wait when you're going from one page to the other page. So when you are everything is on a single page, you don't really need a wait. The answer to that question is it really depends from in your application. If the application is slow, then because everything is hosted on a web server. So if the web server is not reacting fast, meaning that if it is not rendering the pages fast enough, then in your script you have to put wait, right? So yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit more in the upcoming classes. I'll be showing you how to insert something called an explicit wait. Implicit wait is based on the execution of the script, and explicit wait is done through the commands. Okay, let's see if you have any other questions. Anybody else, any questions before we close the shop? If you don't, then that's about it. So I will be seeing you tomorrow, same place, same time. If you don't get a link tomorrow, that is because you have not responded, meaning that I want you to write an email saying that I want to attend this class, right? Now the question comes back is about the timing, right? So here's the deal. For me, it's 10 a.m. here in New York. So 10 a.m. is fine for me, but it's the Californian guys. So anybody from California, if you prefer, because I have two requests. So if you prefer to do an hour late, we can start at 11 a.m. on my time, which is going to be 8 a.m. your time. So I will, if you want to send an email, and in that email, if you put a request, I will take a look at your request, and if more people are requesting it, I'll do it. So far, only 2 people have requested, and so I'll see if I could bump it up to 11 a.m. All right, so of course, you will get to know tomorrow, but if you have a request, put it in the email and send it across, and then based on that, I will change the time to 11 a.m. All right. Okay, folks, I'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of the day. The email address where you should be sending your assignments to is right now, use it at TrainingRight@gmail.com. TrainingRight@gmail.com. You could send it there. All right. Okay. Now, there's a free class for Ruby Cucumber starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in 2 hours from now. If you feel like joining us, I'll be more than happy to see you around 2 o'clock. All right. Okay. Have fun. See you tomorrow.